There is a belief that discipline is harsh, rigid, cold, something you force yourself into, something you use to punish your body, your mind, your desires. Most people believe discipline is the opposite of self-love. They think self-love means rest, comfort, doing what feels good in the moment. And discipline feels restrictive, unpleasant, even cruel. But this belief is backwards. Because the absence of discipline is not freedom. It is neglect. And in the next few minutes, I want to show you why real discipline, is not an act of self-control, but an act of self-respect. Most people associate discipline with force, waking up early when you don't feel like it, doing the work when motivation is gone, saying no to short-term pleasure. So they resist it. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until motivation appears. They wait until life feels easier. But that moment rarely comes. And while they wait, something subtle happens. Their energy scatters. Their mind becomes restless. Their confidence slowly erodes. Not because they are lazy, but because they are uncontained. Sadhguru speaks about this in a way that surprises many people. He says discipline is not about controlling yourself, it is about aligning yourself. When your actions, your energy, and your intentions move in the same direction, life feels supportive. When they don't, life feels exhausting. This is why lack of discipline feels heavy, not because you are failing, but because your inner system has no structure to rest in. Alan Watts once pointed out something similar. He said that true freedom does not come from doing whatever you want. It comes from understanding the consequences of your actions and choosing consciously. A river without banks is not free. It is chaos. The banks do not limit the river. They give it direction. Discipline works the same way. This is where the misunderstanding begins. People think discipline is about denying themselves. But real discipline is about protecting yourself, protecting your energy, protecting your future, protecting the part of you that knows what actually matters. When you lack discipline, your impulses decide for you. Your mood decides. Your distractions decide. Your cravings decide. And over time, that creates a quiet loss of trust in yourself. You stop believing your own promises. This is why discipline is deeply connected to self-love. Because self-love is not about indulgence. It is about care. And care requires consistency. You don't tell a child you love them and then let them do whatever they want. You create structure, boundaries, rhythm, not to control them, but to help them feel safe. Your inner life is no different. Sadhguru often says that when you bring discipline into your life, you are no longer accidental. You are intentional. You decide when you sleep, what you consume, how you use your time, where your attention goes. And attention is life. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Without discipline, your attention is constantly pulled outward by notifications, by noise, by other people's priorities. With discipline, attention returns home. Alan Watts warned about confusing pleasure with fulfillment. Pleasure is immediate. Fulfillment is cumulative. Discipline chooses fulfillment even when pleasure is available. Not because pleasure is bad, but because too much of it, without structure, leaves you empty. This is why indulgence often leads to guilt. And discipline, when done correctly, leads to peace. There is also a deeper layer here. Discipline builds trust with yourself. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when you don't feel like it, you send a message inward. I can rely on myself. That message is powerful. Confidence does not come from positive thinking. It comes from evidence. And discipline creates evidence. Many people say, "I'll love myself once I'm more disciplined." But the truth is the opposite. You become disciplined when you decide you are worth caring for now. Not later, not after improvement, not after success. Discipline is not a reward. It is a declaration. This is why discipline feels uncomfortable at first. Because you are breaking a pattern. You are telling your nervous system that short-term discomfort is safer than long-term regret. That message takes time to land. But once it does, something shifts. You feel grounded, clear, stable. Not because life became easier, but because you became more aligned. If this perspective is resonating with you, you might consider liking the video or subscribing, not as an obligation, but as a way to stay connected to reflections like this when you need them most. Here is the part most people miss. Discipline is not about doing more. It is about doing less consistently, fewer distractions, fewer excuses, fewer broken agreements with yourself, and more presence. When discipline comes from self-love, it is gentle, sustainable, flexible. It listens, it adjusts, but it does not disappear. Sadhguru reminds us that when you bring order within, the outside naturally begins to cooperate, not magically, but logically, because clarity produces right action, and right action produces momentum. So if discipline feels hard right now, don't ask, "What is wrong with me?" Ask instead, "What part of me is asking for care?" Because discipline is not punishment. It is devotion. Devotion to the life you are capable of living. Devotion to the version of you that is not constantly reacting, but choosing. And that is not harsh. That is love.